All right, let's continue with the Southside Panthers. Well, we'll wait. Chris has got to get a picture. Y'all smile big. Now, did you get it wide enough for the two big guys? So they already talked about the big guys on the end over here. So, welcome to Southside Panthers. Coach Ben Stewart stepping in first year. Coach, if you'd let the guys introduce themselves or you introduce them, then some opening comments from you, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, they got it. We'll start over here on my left.
Jordan Brown, class of 25, receiver.
Javon Brown, class of 25, offensive line.
McKay Wright, class of 25, D-line.
Yeah. So, really excited this year. This is also my first head job. Coming from Oxford last year. Last past 3 seasons, offense coordinator. Stepping into a role where Coach Holcomb, he really did a great job, I would say, reviving the program. Playoffs past 4 years in a row, never been done in school history. Looking to continue that run. But, when you got guys like this up here, it's really easy to step into a role like this. And I'll be completely honest with you. As we were talking earlier, our offensive line, it may be the biggest I've ever seen besides IMG and St. John's College. And that's actually on both fronts, too, with the defensive line as well. But the biggest thing about this job, what makes it so fun and interesting is the kids that I have to work with. Every day they come in ready to work, ready to get better. No matter what the circumstance is, they're always ready to to fight. That just makes it easier for me too. So like I said, we were talking today, Monday, we're ready to roll.
Well, Coach, talk about the things that you've done this summer, 7-on-7 OTAs. Of course, I know you're a new coach, and maybe starters back from last year, maybe in different places, but how many do you have returning?
It's a kind of a loaded question. So I'm not really sure. How many guys did y'all lose last year? Not lose, but during the season, starters? Like at one point, I think there was right around 40 different kids who had started a football game. So it's kind of a loaded question. I can tell you we bring back all 11 on both sides, but that wouldn't be true. Like Jordy finished the year out at quarterback. This year he'll be a receiver. So technically he's returning starter, but we don't have a returning starting quarterback. But I think on offense, adding it up, what I would consider legit returning starters would be 8 on offense, and then 8 on defense as well, or 7 on defense as well. And so, like I said, just when you bring that many guys back, there's always expectations that come with that. However, like I tell them, when expectations arise, that means somebody expects something out of you. You rise to the occasion, or you fall to it. And every day they come to work, and a lot of places, it's not about winning; it's about sustaining success. And these guys, they haven't had success very, very long, but they know how to work towards sustaining success and not just being happy with it.
This is for the players. I already talked to Coach about this, but how exciting is it? Because I know some of the guys there, maybe work or go to church and then play in Gadsden City this year for a region game too.
And obviously it's a big rivalry in the community. I haven't been here my whole life, so I don't understand really how big it is. But I know how much the other guys are invested in that and how much it means to them. So, it's a big deal for us. And it's the first time that Southside's playing Gadsden City. I know we played Gadsden High before, but this is really, truly the first real rivalry game since then.
Yeah, I would definitely say I'm excited for it, but I don't really know how big of a game it is because, people in the community, they, if I ever see them, just out and about, they'll tell me about how they're excited for it. But, I wasn't here my freshman year, so I don't really know, the rivalry or anything like that.
Yeah, I wasn't here either my freshman year or anything like that, but I think it'll be a big game because Southside always packs out the stands, and so does Gadsden City, so double it.
Coach, with your pedigree, who you've coached in and around, whether it be Josh Niblett, Sam Adams, I don't know how to word this, there's always expectations, coming in the Southside, but it's not like you haven't seen this before. Maybe from being the head coaching standpoint, yes, but you've seen major programs run at a very efficient high level, and you've been around some very, very, I'm talking upper 1% coaches your entire career. Can you talk about your background and how that's kind of helped you with the expectations, with running a bigger school program, and now something, it's not like you haven't seen this before, so to speak?
Yeah, so it was funny. I think one of the first couple of days that, the guys were talking, somebody asked me if it was a parent or one of them asked, they're like, oh, you go to the region with Gadsden City and Fort Payne, and it's nothing against those guys. I said, well, we don't have IMG and St. John's College and Thompson and Hewitt on the schedule, so, they're not going to roll anybody, 10 5-stars out there, and we got to go up against them. But at the same time, and it's a cliche, but I would take these guys right now. I mean, they wouldn't back down at all. But in saying that, being at those programs, and let me start by saying this, and I think Coach Niblett and Coach Adams would say this as well. They're great programs, but it's the kids who make the program. I mean, I truly and fully believe that. Year in and year out. If you go back and look, over the years, I would say my first year at Hoover, we have 2 guys that are in the NFL right now, one that potentially could be in the NFL, and we didn't win the state championship. You go back, and they went, I believe, 30-0 in over 2 seasons. And I believe they only had 3 guys who signed college scholarships, Power 5, D1 scholarships. Again, it's just a testament to the kids they have. But in saying that, it's about the men that came before them, too. And so, Coach Niblett and Coach Adams, they're kind of 2 totally different people, but they stand for the same thing. And it's big for us. Family is a big thing. I know Coach Holcomb, he had it like this. We have it like this. We always spell family with a 1, right? And, forget about me, I love you, that mentality. When you take that into that, that's when things start to change. And it's really about building a foundation. And the good thing for me is, the foundation has kind of been laid, and it's not just by Coach Holcomb, but it's the guys before him. Like I tell these guys, it's our choice, so we can pave it in pavement or dirt or gold. But again, getting back to those guys, it's, to say coaching under those guys, I'll never be able to repay them for everything they did. And again, they're better men than they are coaches. And I honestly believe that's the reason I'm here today is because of the things they taught me, not just about football, but about life and how to treat people and handle your day-to-day business.
Just for each one of you guys, what have you guys learned about Coach? And we've kind of asked him the questions, what he's learned about you since he's been there. What have you guys individually learned about Coach and his leadership to this point in the brief time you guys have been together?
Be careful what you say.
So, not to make a comparison here, but everyone knows about Coach Holcomb and his success he had, how good of a coach he was. But I would say the transition has been seamless. Coach Stewart has stepped it up, if not matched it, as far as workouts and everything, and keeping the standard what it is, and he understands what that is, and he's trying to instill that in us, and it's up to us to keep that.
I think that Coach Stewart's a very hard worker, and I think he's very knowledgeable, and he's definitely stepped up everything in our program, like workouts, agilities, practice, all that.
Also, he kind of can, from being an offensive coach, he kind of knows what for the offensive line, he knows what the offensive line go through, so he can kind of reason with us more. So it's a lot easier when we come onto the sideline and we're talking to him about what they're doing. Well, he knows if say someone blitz off the edge, he knows how to fix that. And if you have a defensive coach, it might not be as easy, but with him, it's been really, really easy swapping, going from Coach Holcomb to him. It's been pretty easy.
And the big thing for me, and you can ask these guys, and I'm real with it. I'm real in relationships. I like to personally know, try to know each and every one of my players. I know that's, typically not going to happen quick. But I think when you build a relationship and you build a genuine relationship with these guys and not just know them as number 11 or number 10 or whatever. Aren't you 10 this year, McKay? Change to 10 or 77. But when you know that, his dad owns Brown's outboards, and you know what I'm saying, just little things like that. When you start to get to know people, it's a lot easier to fight for each other. And like I said, that's just a big thing for me. Is like I said, I know we keep going and talk about the on the field stuff and the trends. I think like what Gordy was mentioning with the transition stuff, that makes it a lot easier when you actually know and love each other and care for each other. It makes you want to do it more.
Any of you guys from Rainbow City?
No.
I am.
All Southside guys?
I'm from Rainbow City. I
You
moved
from-
to Southside recently.
But you live in Rainbow City?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore, but, well, Coach knows where I'm going with this. We talked about, probably, it might be the majority of kids or close to are from Rainbow City, go to Southside High School. As Coach is saying, he doesn't, not that it does, but he wants to make sure that, the community of Rainbow City doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Talk a little about that, Coach.
Yeah, kind of like we talked about the other day, with that, with me not being from here, right down the interstate, but we not being from here, I see no difference. I know there is that little joke about the river, how it divides them, but I wish they'd either fill it in or we put the stadium right in the middle of the river, because at the end of the day, we're all Panthers, and that's what my biggest message to everybody is. Like, I want you to be proud of where you came from, but at the end of the day, I don't care what what our high school is, whether it's Southside High School or Rainbow City High School or wherever it was. Like, we're all one. We're one family, and so however that needs to get done, I don't care how it gets done, but it's going to get done. We're going to be one family.
Can I say something about that? Like, we as a team, I mean, we could go to every single person. I probably don't know, like, if they're from Southside or Rainbow City, but, like, they're all family to me. Like, I hang out with so many people on my team, and I told so many people on my team that we try to make, even the freshmen, like, I know almost all the freshmen. If I don't know you, it's probably because I just haven't, like, met you much. But, like, I mean, today we did competition drills, and 2 freshmen, Levi and Wesley, and, like, I mean, the support that we bring just to our freshmen is crazy, and it's not like that at some places, and it's just like kind of going back to how we're just a family, and that's just the difference between like Rainbow City and Southside is we're just one. We're not really 2, but people just like to joke around.
Guys, last year you won 8 games. That's the most wins in Southside, I think, since maybe 2013. So does that challenge you going into this year? You guys are seniors moving up to 6A, but there's a challenge there because you had a disappointment in the playoffs, 8 wins, but what's the challenge there going into 2024?
Yeah, I would definitely say I would love to go 10-0. That is definitely something that I think is possible, and that is what I want to do to leave like a legacy as a senior, because last year we won 8 games, but we also lost in the first round of the playoffs. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, the regular season is for the playoffs. The playoffs is the one thing that matters because you're competing for a state championship. And if you lose in the playoffs, then it's kind of like for nothing. Like, we can say, oh, we won 8 games, but we also lost to a team that we beat in the regular season in the playoffs. So we just have to find a way to have success in the playoffs. And that's definitely the one thing that we have struggled with in the past. But as a senior, I hope that I can help lead as a role to beating that.
Yeah, and I know when Coach Stewart first got here, one thing he said is he doesn't want to rebuild. Like, he wants to continue stacking on what Coach Holcomb did. So we're definitely going to try to be better than what we were last year.
Like Coach Stewart said, the past 4 years we made playoffs. Having 8 wins definitely helps with that. But now we understand what the standard is. The standard is 8 wins and above, I guess you would say. So we need to build off of that. And like Jamin said, losing in the first round is it's not ideal to the team that we beat in the regular season. So, I mean, we got a good schedule. We're going to 6A, and I mean, we definitely want more than 8 wins, obviously. And yeah.
Coach, I want to build off of what Jordan just said with your schedule. You opened tough. Guntersville, 3rd-round team in the playoffs in 5A last year. Got a rivalry game, then get into the region play, and all of those are brand-new teams. Could you comment on the schedule this year?
All right, so it's going to sound crazy to you, but other than the first 2 games of the year, and the only reason because the second one being a big rivalry, I actually couldn't tell you how our schedule plays out. And in saying that is because I'm a firm believer in 1-0. You've got to be 1-0 every week. It doesn't, we can't look ahead to the next week and forget about this week. And that's just like the playoffs. I think that's the biggest thing is when you get the playoffs, you take that mentality, and Coach Dillett taught me that if you go 1-0 every week, it's the same thing in the playoffs. If you don't go 1-0 in the playoffs, you're done. But getting back to your question about Guntersville, it's a great game. I believe these guys were telling me y'all had whatever 400 yards offense last year. How many? And nothing against them. They had under 150 yards of total offense. And they lost the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's so many. We lost the game, and there's so many teaching moments in that. You don't realize it then, but building on it now, that's the things that you look back on and go, okay, well, the stats didn't show what the scoreboard showed. But at the end of the day, scoreboards don't lie. They don't care what the stats say. At the end of the day, it goes into the L column. But overall, it is an extremely tough schedule. Year in and year out, Etowah obviously, I'm going to say it again. We go back talking about all the guys that they've had. Just go into the league and go in SEC football, and so it's always going to be competitive. Hoax Bluff, I know every year that's the game I've been told. You lose that one, you might want to take a detour home. And so, but in all seriousness, we've got a really good schedule. But it's taking a really good bunch of guys in there and fighting for.
Guys, we'll wrap it up with this question for you guys. Team goals this year and individual goals for this season.
I'll start. Individual goals is I want double-digit sacks for me personally, and then team goals, beat last year's record and make playoffs.
Yeah, I would say for a team goal, it would definitely be I want to go 10-0, and I want to make it past the first round. That is just like the basis. For individual, I want to have 100 pancakes.
Like Coach Stewart said, team goal is win the next one. If you win the next one, you're going 15-0. Personal goals, I want to get 1,000 all-purpose yards.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Good luck to the Panthers this year. Thanks for participating today.